I'm talking about the tower defense GNOMES that came out this week, a 2D tower defense game that is a roguelike and a run-based tower defense. You have to get through 16 days of raids. You are gnomes. There are goblins trying to invade your home. So you build your little gnome army and defend your home and protect your base.
Gnome home.
Your gnome home.
Yeah.
Some of the... this is very classic tower defense. For people who don't understand what tower defense is, I basically just described it to you. Enemies attack down a lane. You build towers. In this instance, it's little creatures that stand and attack things as they go past them.
So when you defend with those towers?
Well, hang on, he hasn't got to that bit yet.
Anything that gets perpendicular...
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry.
You are really not helping.
Are the towers the gnomes in this case?
Yes.
Sorry, okay. Go
And
on.
you're the nose.
That was
what
a
I
real
just
question.
fucking said.
That was a real question. I know it sounded...
Yeah, you're
Continue.
the nose.
It's very clear what the concept is. Enemies come down a path. You plant a
Gnomes.
defensive strategy tower. In this instance, it's a gnome. When anything walks into a perpendicular space...
Another gnome?
No, the goblins that are attacking the home.
Got it.
The gnome home.
The gnome home.
And you know when they're coming.
You can tell when they're coming.
You can know when they're coming.
And then when they walk past, they get stabbed by the towers,
Which are gnomes.
which are gnomes
Okay.
Wait, the gnomes
defending
stab?
the gnome home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gnomes have knives. All gnomes have knives.
Butter knives, little and small ones. Okay.
Yeah, so you need to survive 16 rounds. It's procedurally generated. The map is procedurally generated.
Yeah, cool.
There are 8 biomes. And so biomes. You fuck.
Oh, Leah, stop. We're allowed to be silly, but you forget. The way you burst into laughter.
So
Too ready for that.
this game has an emphasis on the strategy around what the biomes present you. The first one is forest. There's a bunch of trees. You need to build out an economy, so that you are earning cash, because towers cost money, and you need to earn that money every round. You get that money at the end of a round. So you might spend money on a gnome, and fucking hell. All right, I'm never saying the word gnome
the
again.
way you say it.
You might
Spend money on a gnome.
You're spending money on towers, but you're also spending money on items that will generate wealth for the next round. And sometimes you want to do economy plays and sacrifice a couple of hit points on your gnome home in order to build out a better economy for the future and to allow you to buy more gnomes. There's a bunch of resource management in this.
So it's less like
I
a
hate
gnome home, but more of like an investment property.
It's an investment property. You're investing in the future of the gnome home.
Yeah.
And so that is where, so far, the most unique elements of this game as a tower defense are coming through, because all the standard things are here. You protect the lanes with the towers that you build. The more kills a tower gets, they level up. They level up to level 3, so they're doing more damage, so they become more proficient. The towers become more proficient.
You can block the lanes?
You can block the lanes. You can see the lanes. So the map is procedurally generated. You're trying to use the map to your advantage.
Yep.
You can block lanes. You see
And
where
auto paths.
enemy tents spawn and where they're going to be coming from, and you can see the way that they'll be moving, and then you can manipulate that lane. You have all the time in the world in the strategy phase.
Cool.
So between days, you can strategize for as long as you need, move things around. All of the towers, gnomes, can be moved at the start, between days, which is unusual for a tower defense, which often just has lanes that you're protecting, and then, oh no, they're coming from over here. I need to start building out defenses on this other side of the base. You can move all of your gnomes and re-strategize every day. And
so all those the buildings that are scattered there are the goblin homes. Is this right?
They're the goblin tents that spawn. That's where they're
Right.
going to be attacking from.
Cool,
And you can see the mess of lanes.
Well,
that
yeah,
are
it was
in there.
really neat until you blocked one and then they just suddenly scattered.
They can split, and you can try and force them to go down the same path. You might want them to be on separate paths because your towers have an attack speed and you want only one unit moving through at a time because it can only hit one.
The lanes are traveling. Sorry to interrupt. The lanes are traveling over and through the trees. So do they serve a purpose as like slowing it down or anything, or are they just
Some units can destroy trees.
Right. Okay.
All of the attacking units have different attributes, and you go into a map and you choose a subset of items that you can build that include a gnome, a way to build your economy, and I don't know what else is standard. I think and the house to build out because you need to have enough accommodation for the gnomes. So I can have 5 gnomes on my map because I have 5 houses.
Yeah, okay.
And so that costs
So it's
money.
one
and that's a
gnome
management
per
as well.
house.
1 gnome per house, but
Okay.
there are modifiers on everything.
What a world.
So in the forest region, you can build economy by building structures near the trees.
Yeah, right.
But that's only if you. There's just a bunch of modifiers that make this interesting and run based, which is that you have a sequence of relics. Every day you can buy relics that are just randomly generated and modifiers. Cool. Sorry, they're not randomly generated, they're randomly distributed to you.
Oh, like Slay the Spire.
Like Slay the Spire, like all card systems and stuff that are around these days. And you can re-roll that and spend cash to re-roll that. But you need to get to day 16, survive the onslaught, find the best ways to protect the lanes, and when you get to day 16, a giant goblin attacks the base. If it makes it to the base, it's called the king. If the king gets to the base, it destroys you and you lose. So the point of the game is to get as far as possible, and maybe on a run you don't have what you need to succeed, but if you get to day 14 or 15, it unlocks the next map and you can start trying out the different biomes, and you get given a new starting set. So it might be axe gnomes that actually do an arc attack, so they hit around corners and stuff, so you can start to manipulate the map in different ways. You can get gnomes in the relics, so you can
Get a relic that gives you
randomly
extra
get given a gnome and get some synergy happening with a gnome that's got a flail that stuns, like combined with your gnome that does axe attacks that do area of effect. So there's just like a bunch of interesting things that change every
Enough
round.
variables to make like multiple runs.
And then you go from the forest to the swamp, and suddenly there are no trees. The idea of getting economy from trees goes out the window, and so you need to start building plants on swampland if you can, or building up fertile soil so that you can build plants that only work in fertile soil.
Are those biomes you unlock and you go
correct,
through?
Yeah,
so
that's basically the campaign progression.
Okay, cool,
is these
cool.
biomes that you're making your way through.
I just had one question about, since when you click go and all the goblins rush you, is that just a hands-off phase where it's like, did it work kind
Correct.
of thing? Okay,
Yep.
right. Because a lot of tower defense games now realize that that's the boring bit, and so a lot of them have like an active hero that you move around and do some like action with, like your mobile games and stuff. Whereas I like here that it's sort of like my pieces are in play, or the pieces are set, I'll hit go. And so there's nothing you can do once you're like, oh shit, it's all
you see whether what you strategize is going to work or not.
Okay.
What is like a really classic tower defense game? Like, how did you guys learn how to play a
So
game
I
like
started
this?
playing tower defense games as Warcraft mods. So the Warcraft 3
when it was a
video game was an
top-down
RTS game.
Uh-huh.
And so people would build mods in that game, and things like Legion TD exist as standalone games today. Elements TD. That era was when I first experienced tower defense games as like a really serious and often cooperative or PvP, not just player versus computer. And it was Warcraft units running through lanes, and you had to defend them. StarCraft Brood War was where it actually started.
Yeah. And it became a genre from that. And I've probably...
Yeah, I know balloons, but
Bloons is
Plants
a huge
vs.
mobile
Zombies.
one.
Yes.
Yeah, you could say that is.
Yeah.
There's literally just the what are they called? There's like a really cool animated cartoon one that has had a whole series on mobile that's really easy to approach. Kingdom...
Clash of Clans?
No, it's not that. I'll remember. Someone will chat. I'll know. The other really good one is...
Kingdom
Kingdom
Reigns?
Kingdom Rush
Reigns or
yeah.
something. Anyway, they're really approachable. OTTD, Over the Top Tower Defense, is an Australian-made game that did really
sci-fi
approachable.
skin.
Yeah, like, and that's your classic. Each map has an interesting lane setup, and then you choose to manage that economy and hit go. And it is just like a really gratifying genre to, again, there's the management, but there's also just watching all the mobs rush and go like, okay, they're all getting obliterated because you've made a little chokehold and they're all getting murdered in that area. So, I think it's Kingdom Rush as well, but there's some good mobile ones as well. This feels a lot more, well, the visuals, old PC kind of style.
Yeah, and for me, the really interesting thing that I'm like, I didn't finish the forest map, but I didn't well enough that I unlocked the swamp map, and then I managed to beat the swamp map, so got through level 16, and now I'm at the desert map. But the interesting thing to me is the biomes and how to build out the economy based on the biomes that you're in.
Yeah.
Because it is
What's an Australian game?
very different. I didn't realize that.
Australia.
That's cool.
No, Over the Top Tower Defense is
GNOMES made by 2 people in Australia.
Oh, sick.
That's
Miss
awesome.
Silver says.
Oh, great. Thanks, Miss
Yeah,
Silver.
cool.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Kingdom Rush.
It's
is
awesome.
the mobile one.
Dystopian
that's
is the dev.
and it's the Kingdom Rush games are all a paid one-time games, so they're like $14 each, but they're like really, really good travel games because they're offline and they're really good too.
Oh, I'm a mobile
but very
game
different
head.
from that
Anyone
kind of
who's
game.
into tower defense should definitely check this out. It's pretty cheap, and it's Australian made, and it's on Steam.
Yeah, you mentioned when you came out, I should play it. That all
Yeah.
does tickles my fancies.
Yeah, yeah.
So